Alright, let's try this again. So I said before, I have somewhat like a love-hate relationship with this website, Quora. The kind of stupidity that shows up on it annoys me so much. I should just stay away from it, and yet I get drawn back in time and time again. So here I am again. I made a kind of a snarky comment on Quora today that I probably shouldn't have, but the question was, why is it that the ultra-Orthodox are so often maligned in the media? And I gave a snarky, sarcastic answer that has some truth to it, though, although it was probably inappropriate and certainly was not polite. I'm kind of a bad mood recently, so could be a little bit why I'm talking like this. But I said something along the lines that it's the self-hating Jews who, first of all, hate Judaism and want to make the Torah look bad, Judaism look bad, the ultra-Orthodox Jews look bad. And the second reason is that a lot of people are Zionists, and since the ultra-Orthodox are anti-Zionists, a lot of people in the media are pro-Zionist, and they're upset that there's a group of Jews who don't kowtow to their ideology and don't have dual loyalties, and we're patriotic Americans. And I'll be honest, this is what I really believe, but it's not nice to say, and I shouldn't have said it, because it's not nice, even though it's true. At least that I believe it. Whether it's actually true, I don't know. But it's just what I believe. Rightfully so, somebody criticized me about it, and it's deserving of criticism, certainly. But I'll disagree with the criticism. So, and I'll clarify what I believe. So someone was saying that they're on Quora, and Joseph Kyron is the screen name there, could be his real name, it's none of my business. First of all, he made some kind of ad hominem attack because I took a name of a town where one of my ancestors was a Rav to be the name of beautiful lightning there. So anyway, so he's making an ad hominem attack on the title that I chose, because I revere very much my ancestor, Rabbi Yer Chaim Bacharach, who was the Rav. He was the author of the Chavos Yair and many other Sfarim, most of which were never published, and the ones that were only published recently, the more and more I learn, the more I love not only the Sfarim, but his personality that comes out of these Sfarim. I feel a very strong kesher to my holy Zayda, the Chavos Yair, and like him, I was a Rav in a town, and didn't last very long, and like him, currently a private citizen, although I don't have the issues with the Rav that he had, with the Rav that where he was other rabbi. I have a title of assistant rabbi in my community, and I respect and love and admire my local Rav tremendously, which was different than what the Holy Zayda, the Chavos Yair, experienced in his time. But he was a Rav in Koblenz, and then he went back to Worms, and eventually B'Seif Yomov was the Rav in Worms. But in Koblenz, he was a Rav for a few years, and it I feel certain ways mirrors my experience when I was the Rav in Richmond, Virginia, and that didn't work out. And now, right now, I guess I'm the rabbi of Waymart, Pennsylvania, because that's where my rabbinical position is, that I'm a chaplain in a prison in Waymart, Pennsylvania. But I don't want to call myself a Waymart the Rav, but I want to show respect for my Zayda, the Chavos Yair, and so the little community that we have in the prison, I called Kahal Chavas Yor Kibletz. That's what it's all about. So like I said, an einikel from the Chavas Yor, and therefore, of course, also an einikel from Maharal Miprag, Zechusin Aleinu. And the Maharal Miprag was very famous in his statement that to violate the Shlosh Shavuos that the Satmar made famous in our time was the Yahar Gval Yavor. You have to give your life rather than violate these oaths, meaning even to the point where if the nations of the world would put a gun collectively to the heads of Klal Yisrael and said, have your own independent state, before Mashiach is here, we would have to give up our lives rather than to have the state. And there are logical explanations for that, most of which is because by doing so, we're putting more Jewish lives in danger. And so therefore, it's under the rubric of Shvichas Damim, really, essentially. Although there are other explanations as well. As what the Satmar really brought out is it's Kfira, and the Kfira is worse than the Avodah Zarah, and so forth, as the Rambam says. This gentleman, I'll call him Rabbi. I don't care if he has smicha or not. I'm giving you smicha because I see you have a good Yiddish hearts, right? He's saying, what, Mashiach's going to come to Brooklyn? I don't live in Brooklyn anyway. I live in the Catskills. I don't even like to visit Brooklyn very much. When there was a Sklener Rebbe in Brooklyn, I liked to visit the Sklener Rebbe. I have a Rebbe who I love very much. The Kalaver Rebbe is in Williamsburg. And I also love the current Satmar Rebbes, both of them. I send my kids to their schools, both different schools. Some kids are in one school, some kids are in another school, because they're just where they are, and they're friends and everything. All right. Anyway. I want to chap a mikveh now. When it comes to, let's backtrack. So, first of all, I quoted from Yirmiyahu Navi, who says, pray for the peace, pray for whatever you want to translate, shalom. There are a lot of people translating welfare of the city where I sent you, because with their shalom is your shalom. Meaning, don't listen to the Nevi'ei Sheker, to the false prophets who are telling you to go back to Eretz Yisrael before the proper Zman. Instead, wait patiently and become part of your community where you live. And so I'm living in Bethel, New York, and I vote and I participate in the community here as much as I can, and I pray for my community here, both Jew and Gentile. And I'm very busy, like my holy Zayda, the Chavas Yair, was a busy person. He always called himself Hatorud Yorechaim Bochrach, the busy one. That's how he signed his name quite often in the Shalos and Chuvas Chavas Yair. And like him, I feel that same experience of tirdus, of being a torud, of being a busy person. I have a full-time job and part-time job and a business, ministry business, wedding ministry, service ministry. These bumpy roads. So I'm a busy person. Maybe not as busy as the Zayda, the Chavas Yair was, but I feel that tirdus. Anyway, the Chavas Yair writes, when it comes to halachically speaking, this is in the Mekor Chaim, which is his parish of Shulchan Aruch. I'll give the context to be intellectually honest. That the context is that there was the question is, if you We're supposed to face Yerushalayim when we daven, right? So, we said already, if you don't know which way is Yerushalayim, you should imagine in your heart you're facing Yerushalayim. He says so you should point your heart to Yerushalayim. And now physically we're supposed to face Yerushalayim, but in our heart, the halach is your heart is supposed to be turned toward Shemayim, toward heaven. So how do you reconcile this? Meaning it's one thing, you're physically facing Yerushalayim, and in your heart you're facing heaven. But what if your heart is supposed to be facing Yerushalayim? How is your heart supposed to be facing heaven? And the answer it gives is Yerushalayim Shel Ma'ala, the heavenly Jerusalem. Because Yerushalayim is really a concept. The physical city of Yerushalayim is merely an archetype for that deeper spiritual, metaphysical concept of Yerushalayim, the Yerushalayim Shel Ma'ala, the heavenly Jerusalem. But when it says the city where I sent you, it's specifically talking about Bavel, meaning wherever we are in Golus, we're supposed to be part of our community. And so that's, a criticism that I have of many of the Haredisha communities. Some are and some aren't. And we should strive a little bit to be more, but for the most part, they always are in some form, usually in some kind of shtadlonis, political activism. And they have relationships with the politicians and other local people of import. The question then is, are we going, where's Mashiach going to go to? So for this, I'm going to turn to the Sefer Chesed L'Avram, which was written by the grandfather of the Chidah. And he writes there that when Mashiach comes, there's only going to be a few thousand Jews in Eretz Yisrael. Satmar Rav used to shake and cry whenever he learned this, because he said, what's going to be with these millions of Jews who are in Eretz Yisrael now? What's going to be with them? They have to leave before Mashiach comes. We pray that it should be in a peaceful way, and they'll just be temporarily relocated, whatever it is. But we see there's been, for 70 years, bloodshed. And before that, really, since the Zionist movement began in the 1890s, there's been shvichas damim. Look what happened. Hitler wanted to send all the Jews to Eretz Yisrael. So if they would have gone peacefully, the Arabs would have had to take them as dhimmis. But because there was some Zionists among them who threatened to take over the Eretz Yisrael, and the Grand Mufti of Yerushalayim said to Hitler, "Yimach shemam v'zichron," both of them, they're both evil people. Without question, shouldn't have to explain. Shouldn't have to qualify that. But the Mufti said to Hitler, you got to kill them. You can't. This is history. This would be Netanyahu says, that he blames the Mufti of Yerushalayim for the Holocaust. He's the one who gave Hitler the idea. But why did he give Hitler the idea? Meaning Islam doesn't say, kill all the Jews. That's not an Islamic ideology. The Islamic ideology is only if they're in a state of war. If they're coming as dhimmis and accepting, and so the Jews who lived for hundreds of thousands of years in Eretz Yisrael, and for hundreds of years under Islamic rule, who wanted to be there as pious Jews, for religious devotion without any political gain or political aims, live for the most part in peace. And of course, you go in the wrong neighborhood, you're going to get beaten up. But for the most part, they lived in peace. The Jewish kids would babysit the Arab kids, the Muslim kids during Ramadan. The Muslim parents would babysit the Jewish kids on Yom Kippur. They lived in peace. And it was only because the political element was brought in there that this stopped. But the thing is when Mashiach comes, most of the Jews will not be in Eretz Yisrael. That's one thing, and the other thing is that the you mean in Kibbutz Goliath is not Eretz Yisrael. It's a mistake in Nusach Sfard to say La'artseinu, although it could be interpreted to say that it's eventually La'artseinu. But the main Kibbutz Goliath, according to Medrash, is going to be a place called Midbar Agoyim. And another interpretation, though, is also that the Medrash says that Eretz Yisrael will be as big as the whole world. Meaning, Mola Oretz Teis Hashem, K'mayim Li'am Chasem, the whole world is going to be filled with the knowledge of God. That's what we're looking forward to. We're not just looking forward to a restoration, a political restoration of the kingdom of King David, which is a gewaldige thing when you have everything right with the Navi and everything. If it can be done in a safe way, that's gonna be peaceful. But we're really looking forward to something much greater than that. When the whole world is filled with the knowledge of the Lord, like the waters cover the seas. When nation will not lift up weapon against nation, neither will they learn of war anymore. This is what we're looking forward to. Not just the mere restoration just for us, for the Jews. We're not, that's spiritually selfish. We're supposed to be spiritually altruistic and looking at the big picture, making the whole world a beautiful gem for God. And fulfilling our role as a light unto the nations, as a kingdom of priests, a holy people. Furthermore, we're in Galus for the sake of being Megayer Gerim, and also to be Malin Tzaitzis, and the many other issues we want to bring out here. There's a purpose in Galus. Now, for those who are holy enough to be living in Eretz Yisrael, the way where Moshe Leib Sassover said that if you're holy enough to live 24/7 in the shul, you can live 24/7 in Eretz Yisrael. I understand there are certain Yechidei Segula that belong in Eretz Yisrael, but it's not for everyone. But also, I can understand the people who live in Eretz Yisrael. Again, I might be able to disagree with some of the Charedim in Eretz Yisrael, that if they don't want to pray for the Israeli government. But an American, I should only be praying for the American government or for the world, not specifically for the Israeli government. I could pray for Jews who live in Eretz Yisrael, including Zionist Jews. But why am I praying for the Israeli government? I have nothing to do with them, And the other thing is that if you live in Israel, you could say like we say in America, Hanais and Shua, instead of the Avinu Shemaim that it was a secular. Ooh, there's hail coming down. Akas Bara. All right. Well, there was a big hailstorm. All right. Well, we'll see you later. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. And I want to chop a mikveh before it's too late. I want to get home. But I wish you well. I love you. You're my fellow Jew. Nothing personal. But if you live in America, you should be an American. Why do you have to pray for a foreign government? Why, if to me, as an American, I'd much rather say Hallel on the 4th of July than on Hay Year. And I think the 4th of July is a much bigger miracle than Hay Year. I usually make somewhat a tish or something on Thanksgiving, the 4th of July. Because I'm an American, and that's not a Satmar thing. Not anything any of my Rebbes do. I do my own thing. That's what one of my Rebbeim does. So I have a Masorah. Alright. I still want to go to the mikveh. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe.